And then you can detach this pop arm and pop stick and pop arm, and then send to the dental lab. Dental technician can reassemble these components following this line. So this is for saving the occlusal information during the delivery. So after using the POPO systems, you can make proper Jimson model. So what I want to say, the bottom of Jimson model will be parallel with the POPO plan. Look at these figures. So campus line parallel to the bottom, the interpopular line parallel to the bottom. You can pull the Jimson based on the plane of the POPO systems. So that means after removing this tray and POPO systems, the base of Jimson model can indicate the occlusal plane, you know? So based on the base of the Jimson model, you can make the occlusal waxing. And based on the following the base of the Jimson model, you can make the anterior teeth or other, prosthesis. The POPO has scan markers that allows it to be scanned with an intraoral scanner. This video is very old video used the i500 from Medit company, but now the intraoral scanner's function is developed rapidly, right? You can scan very simply. You can scan this POPO system very simply. The POPO is equipped with scan markers, allowing it to be scanned with an intraoral scanner. So, for example, you wanna make the laminate, for this patient. So at that time, when you take a bite registration, you can connect this attach these POPO systems between upper and lower lip. I don't know why this scratch made it continuously, so it's so strange. Anyway, move to the next topic. I believe you will understand about the occlusal plane, right? So next topic is vertical dimension. There are so many methods. It's based on the previous research, but today I want to show you only 3 methods following my clinic, okay? So strange. What's the reason? The first concept is using the freeway space. When the patient is in the physiologic rest position, there is usually a small space between maxillary and mandible teeth. So can you say together? So like this, M, M. Follow me, M, M. At that time, you can feel the distance between upper and lower teeth, right? This is freeway space, freeway space, freeway space. Generally, typically a freeway space is about 2 to 4 millimeter. 2 to 4 millimeter. So, okay, let's imagine. You can mark 2 points. One point is upper jaw. No. Second point is lower jaw. And then you ask making the M sound to patient. The patient say M, M. That is rest vertical dimension. Okay. At that time, you can measure the distance between 2 points. The distance of 2 points should be is for example is 40 millimeter. At that time, what is the occlusal vertical dimension? As I told you, the freeway space range is 2 to 4 millimeter. Because of that, you can minus 2 to 4 millimeter from 40 millimeter. So occlusal vertical dimension is 36 to 38 millimeter. In edentulous patient, this method using freeway space is best. So I think so. I think like that. So because the patient doesn't have any teeth, so there is no landmark to decide the vertical dimension. So after marking 2 points, and then you can measure the rest position vertical dimension, and then minus 2 to 4 millimeter is best method to decide the vertical dimension. After deciding like this, and then you can check one more time using the Willis method or McGee's method. I believe you all knows about that. So, but I recommend to use Willis method than McGee's method, okay? So look at the Willis method. So from A to C distance is same with the distance of from B to D. So A is outer corner of eye, C labial commissure. So the lateral end of the mouse. So the distance A to C is similar with ala to chin, ala and chin. So you can check the distance between AC and BD. Do you understand? This is Willis method. So you had better double check using the freeway space method and the Willis method. And lastly, after making the wax denture or 3D printing dentures, you can check the S sound. S sound. Somebody said that I always check the swallowing. Okay, that's good. But the speech is best method. I think so. I think like that. So that is my method. Anyway, after arranging the artificial teeth, and then we can check the S sound. Generally, when the patient make S sound, the distance between upper and lower teeth is about 1 to 1.5 millimeter. Okay, sound, S sound. So generally, the mandible have to protrude, and then make the edge to edge bite, almost edge to edge bite, and then can make the S sound using the 1.0 to 1.5 millimeter space. Did you summarize? So next concept, next one is what's this scratch? Next topic is about CR, central relation. As you know, there are so many references about CR recording. So for explanation of CR, I have to mention about JV fork. Okay, so the most popular method is Godigachi tracing. Do you know that? Godigachi tracing method. But conventionally, this Godigachi tracing is cumbersome because we have to send the impression model to the dental technician to make the Godigachi tracer. Okay, so to overcome these issues, we developed a single-use device called the JV fork. So what is the Godigachi tracing? So I will explain showing the video. Next video. This is JV fork system for deciding vertical dimension and CR recording. After insertion implant, we decided to make a temporary denture. In case of lower jaw, we decided to make a temporary fixed prosthesis. And the upper jaw, we decided to make the temporary denture. So because of that, I scanned using the intraoral scanner. In case of upper jaw, there is no irregularity. So after applying universal adhesive and then curing, and then we can make the resin marker, several resin marker for using the superimposition between scan data and the bite data. Okay, so after scan the upper jaw, and then we can apply the JB fork. So assembling 60s and clip. We can position the butty silicone material, and then position this upper plate, discussing with the patient about the position of anterior teeth. Okay, Rabia support right this, it's okay. 60s position right this, that's okay. And then after confirmation of patient, yes, I can check the reference mark, reg mark, and then remove the 60s, and then I can, yes, assemble lower plate and handle, and then position the upper jaw, and then I checked the mandible rotation. If there is some interference, I can deduct the lower plate. After applying the putty, and then I position this JB fork and then make the index, take an impression in lower jaw. If you want to transfer the occlusal plane, you can attach Papo systems on the handle, like this, campus line, occlusal line, campus line, and interpopular line, and then left and right side balance, and then picks using the glue, and then mark the reference line for reassemble. And then we can detach every component, and then excess area of silicon. Using the screw of lower plate, we can adjust. We can decide the vertical dimension. So, and then put the 60s and then position the upper jaw, and then lower jaw, and bite comfortably. And then we can decide the vertical dimension. So using the anterior teeth, we decided the occlusal plane at first. Using the screw, we can decide the vertical dimension. After deciding the vertical dimension, we can draw the Goldilocks tracing. So scrubbing the occlusal paper on the upper plate, and then position like this. Lower plate, and then bite. Go to forward. Go back. Right side, go back. Left side, go back. And you can induce the movement of mandible. At that time, you can see the 3 line like this, you know? Can you see that? You can see the 3 line, 1, 2, 3, okay? So the apex of this arrow or Goldilocks tracing, it can be indicated the CR position. So using the small round bar, you can make the slight groove to fix together with this screw tip, okay? So the tip can engage in this groove. So the patient can make the same position when the patient bite together, okay? And then fix using the silicone material, positioned between upper and lower plate, and we can fix together. So everything is finished. That is JV fork. And then you can transpose this one to the digital method after they scan it, and then we can superimpose the upper impression to the JV fork impression. Do you understand? So at that time, we can mount like this. If you wanna show again, you can search this JV fork videos through the YouTube. Okay. So next method is Dosun's bimanual manipulation techniques. So this method is so popular method to take a CR recording, but I don't recommend to use this one because there are some problems to make the proper position of the operator. So generally, the patient have to recline like this, and then the operator arms have to be parallel to the floor. So those kind of bending make the error. The patient chin have to be lift like this. So anyway, the position is very important. So, and then the technique of the operator is very important. So because of that, I generally used the thumb and chin method. So in this approach, the patient can be seated in a semi-reclined position, and it's okay to have the head slightly tilted back. I gently rest my thumb on the chin without applying much force. Don't push. With using the slight force, my index finger supports the lower border of the mandible. I encourage the patient to relax and avoid protruding the mandible. And I repeat this movement 2 or 3 times. And then I could check the same position of the lower jaw rotation. Okay. I accept that as the patient-centered relation. This is the thumb and chin. A three-finger method is similar with thumb and chin method. So look at this video. This patient is over 80 years old, so she cannot induce the proper CR rotational movement. So at that time, I make the laugh for her. Also, you are beautiful today. So at that time, she laughed. And then I suddenly, yes, positioned the CR position. Anyway, relaxed position is very important. And then I checked several times. After checking the same position in several rotational movement, and then I accept this position as CR point. This is very simple in case of edentulous patient, okay? Once the vertical dimension and CR are registered, we proceed with mounting the cast on the articulator. However, in elderly edentulous patients, yes, skeletal asymmetry are quite common, right? So especially in the position of the ears. To do a pacebow transport, we have to use the ear bow. So because of the unbalance of ear, so sometimes we can see the errors, yes, after mounting like this. So we can see the canting of the cast. Okay, so generally I use the POPO systems in case of edentulous patient for denture. Okay, so please don't misunderstand. So when I make the fixed prosthesis and accurate prosthesis, I recommend to use the paceful transport. But in case of denture, the average value mounting is enough. Average value mounting is enough using the POPO system. Simply place the cast so that the model base is parallel to the POPO plan and ensure symmetry across left and right side. So that is enough. In my clinic experience, this method has been reliable and reproducible. So we can check the left and right side balance according to the POPO position. And then we can mount the model parallel to the bottom with the POPO plan. So the POPO can position the middle portion of the articulator. So we can do average value mountings using the POPO systems. I recommend to use POPO when you treat the very simple case or edentulous patient case. Okay. Okay. It's so hard because I finished it until chapter 2. Let's move to chapter 3. Are you okay? So if you are boring, so I'm so sorry, but so there's so many things to explain. So because of time limitation, I'm shorten my explanation until chapter 2. So let's move to the main topic of today's chapter 3, clinical application of JB Tray denture procedure. This is the procedure for conventional complete denture. Generally, the patient have to visit over 5 times, right? So first visit, preliminary impression. Second visit, final impression. Third visit, jaw relation. Fourth visit, wax denture check. Fifth visit, denture delivery. And then complaining continuously, right? So, but in the clinic, we can reduce these 5 steps into 2 or 3 steps in case of conventional complete denture. So I want to reduce these first 3 steps into the only 1 step. At the first bit of patient, we can finish from preliminary impression, no, making the custom tray to jaw relation recording. And then we can check wax denture, that is option, okay? Or we can make the printed denture to check up the object or bite in static aspect. And then we can make the final denture using digital method. Anyway, the key concepts is write this. JB tray has only one size. And then applying the moldable material inside of the tray. Reduce 3 steps of conventional procedure. Jaw relation recording without occlusal wax rim. Transfer enough patient information at the first visit. This procedure can make a satisfaction of dentist, dental technician, and patients. So anyway, that is key concept. The maxillary tray is sufficiently large to cover all relevant anatomical structures. For the finer maxillary impression, the open mouth technique can be employed. So as I told you, in case of lower jaw, the closed mouth impression is recommended. But in case of upper jaw, there's no problem when you use the open mouth impression technique. Additionally, there is the occlusal table. An occlusal table here, yes, on the tray. An occlusal table is incorporated into the tray to facilitate jaw relation recording. So you have to take accurate impression in hemilular notch area, maxillary tuberosity area, and the posterior border of the posterior dam. Anyway, exact picture of the palatinophobia area, vibratory line area. Anyway, I believe you all can do it in case of maxillary denture, right? So look at this case. So although this case has severe bone resorption, but that's normal, yes, to us, right? There is slight combination syndrome, but not severe. So I decided to use the JB tray. So the tray, when the tray is immersed in water, heated over 70 degrees Celsius. You have to remember 70 degrees Celsius for approximately 1 minute. 1 minute. At that time, the white color material changed to be translucent, indicating that is ready for molding. Okay, so generally refrigerator hot water temperature is over 70. So using the rubber cup, you can pour the hot water through the water refrigerator, and then you can put this tray, yes, in the rubber cup, okay, rubber bowl. And then after yes, melting, and then you can make a custom tray directly. Once the material is fully softened, it is inserted intraorally to perform both molding and make a custom tray simultaneously. Since the thermoplastic area can be reheated and reshaped multiple times, don't worry. If you failed to make the custom tray, you can try one more time, several times. And then the working time is over 2 minutes. So please, slow application would be recommended. Don't rush. So after making proper shape outside of the oral cavity, and then excess area cut, and then put the tray in the oral cavity, and then you can make the custom tray very, very slowly. Okay, the working time is over 2 minutes. Remember it, please. So look at one more time. When the tray is immersed in water heated over 70 degrees Celsius, about 1 minute, you can see the change of color from white to be translucent characteristic. And then position this tray, and then push the palatal area. You have to make the perfect pitting of palatal area, And then you can do border molding. If the length is less, at that time you can extend using your finger. You can extend the border length and then you can do border molding one more time. Do you understand? So after border molding, any excess material should be trimmed with scissors before it hardened. As I told you, working time is over 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, this translucent can be changed to the white color. At that time, you cannot cut with scissors. You have to use denture bar like this. One more time. Once the material has hardened, adjustment must be made using a cross-cut denture bar, interrupted pores because this material is plastic. So if you do continuous force to this material, definitely the the foam will change to sticky or is folding together. So it's very hard to cut. So interrupted forcing is very important. Do you understand? So after making the denture and then applying the silicone adhesive, and then as I told you, I always use double step impression technique. At first, applying the tray type or heavy body silicone material, and then we can take a first impression. So com performing the board molding. Okay. After then, you can see the overpressed area inside of tray. As you know, we have to make a proper space for silicone materials, and then overpressure always make the high pressure to the soft tissue, and then after reduction of this high pressed area, and then applying light body one more time and take impression one more time again and again. So if you can detect pressed area one more pressed area, and then you can do third impression again after removing the pressed area. So I hope you don't have any stress when you make the custom tray. So when we make the custom tray using JB tray, we don't use wax material, wax space. Because of that, we definitely we have to check the proper space of silicone material. Understand? So after taking the final impression upper jaw, we will take lower jaw impression. So this is the mandible tray. The mandible tray is also large, only one size, and often needs trimming before use. So the size is a little bit big, okay? So before uses, you had a better cut the excess area or large part of the tray. It has 4 breathing load here. So as I told you, JB tray, using the JB tray, we can decide the vertical dimension CL recording directly. So this component can help to detect the vertical dimension or CL recording. Okay. So you can see the 1 millimeter interval is line on the load. So if you want to reduce 1 millimeter, you can deduct only one interval. 2 millimeter, two interval. Understand? So anyway, you can adjust the vertical dimension, adjusting this load and upper trays occlusive table, and both of them can be adjustable. Okay. So after finishing the upper jaw impression, you can break the handle like this. Because as I told you, in case of lower jaw, we have to use closed mouth impression technique. So at that time, the handle could prevent the closure of the mouth. Do you understand? So there is a V cut to make easily breaking of the handle. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. What's the problem? So, oh, open the mouse and then put the trays after melting. after heating, okay, after softening. Then slowly and carefully put it into the mouth to shape it. As I told you, the working time is 2 minutes, over 2 minutes, so a long time. So if you rush, the tongue might push or fold the tray. Wait a little until the tray becomes a bit firmer before pressing it. Okay? You can reheat and fix it again. So don't try to finish everything at once. Just take your time, please. Okay? So in my case, generally I always wait about 30 seconds outside of mouth. And then when I feel some rigidity or resistance, at that time I put inside this tray in the mouth because of tongue, okay, tongue movement. This is the finished tray, right? If any parts are too thick, cut them with scissors before it hardens. After it hardens, or after it sets, you can adjust it using a denture bar, as I told you, right? If you've done closed mouth impressions before, this will look familiar. Make sure the tray isn't too long in the retinal pad area here. So do you have an experience to use the BPS denture systems? So if you have an experience to do BPS or suction denture concept from the Japan, you definitely you can understand about this concept. Anyway, overextension is very dangerous when you do closed mouth impression technique. So generally, you have to reduce the maxillary traverse the thickness of denture, and then you have to reduce the overextended retinal molar pad area. Okay, so and then at that time, the patient make the smooth closing without any disturbance. So look at this model. So at first, the model cannot bite, cannot close the model's mouth, right? So that's because of the interference of the retinal pad area, overextended area. At that time, after making a custom tray and then put this tray inside of the water, only retromolar pad part partially softened. Okay. In this case, reheat only that area. Uh, and then have the patient bite again. The tray will reshape, to the correct length. Any excess material can then be trimmed with scissors. So you can make the proper closure of this model, right? Please understand about this one. So this is the key point for making lower jaw custom tray using the JB tray. Okay. So before taking the final mandible impression, adjusting the vertical dimension by selectively reducing the vertical load. So after position this tray, and then if you want to decide 2 mm and then deduct the 2 interval of the load, or if you want to increase the vertical dimension, you can apply the wax between upper and lower tray. Okay. If the page, okay. So I want to show you like this. So after applying the wax, you can put this wax lower very simply using this rod, and then you can increase the vertical dimension. If the patient, when you bite at this position, some patient has the deformation of mandible. So this load located outside or lingual side, at that time you can use wax rim as well. After adjusting the tray, and then you can take final impression like this. So positioning upper denture, and then you can position the lower tray. And then gently close the mouth. And then the patient can do bottom molding by himself. U, E, U, E, U, E. In the case of the masseter muscle, the message is done by lightly stroking from inferior to superior like this, lifting upward. For the bacinator muscle, applying slight pressure and sweep posteriorly. So you have to do massage for yes, masseter muscle and bacinator muscle. So that is bottom molding of the lower jaw. Clinically, after fabricating tray, the preliminary impression can be taken using heavy body or tray type silicone materials. According to the company, the name of the silicone material is a little bit different, right? So heavy body is similar with the tray type silicone material. Then adjust pressure area using a denture bar. You have to reduct this part. And then take a second impression with a light body silicone material to obtain an accurate final impression. So do you understand? So although it's a little bit burden or it's hard to take a second time impression, but it's very essential. So and if effective method to get the perfect final impression. So after second impression, you can get the perfect retention of the impression itself. And then you can see that the perfect impression, so not perfect, but in my case, in my side view, the every anatomical structure was detected. Yeah, so proper thickness of lingual fold area, and then I took the proper curvature of the retinal pad area, and then the lingual flange area is good in my point of view. So when you use the JB tray, the tray itself has a little bit irregularity, right? So because of that, you have to be careful to trim the proper thickness and shape of JB tray in lower jaw. Lower jaw is a little bit difficult. Anyway, you have to check the curvature of the final impression and then position the pupil systems between upper and lower lip. Why? So the pupil system has the about 3 mm thickness. So if you connect this pupil system below the upper lip, the inferior border of pupil can indicate the incisal edge, right? So you can take additional information and then transfer that information to dental technician. Okay. Midline, you can mark a line on the pupil systems, and you can check the campus line, and then you can check the bilateral, yes, balance, bilateral symmetry, and then you can finish every procedure at the first visit of patient. So, and then I decided to make temporary denture for waiting conventional denture because he wanted to get temporary denture for eating something. So, and then I scanned it directly. Upper scan, I scanned the inner surface of the impression. At the same time, I can scan the pupil systems on the upper impressions process. Because of scan random mark, it's very easy to scan it. So in my clinic, generally I'm using the trios 4 and 5. So it's very simple just to scan it. And then lower scan, you can take a impression. You can take a scan very simply in lower case. Then the bite. Bite is lateral surface scan of the JB tray. And you can make the you can scan every surface of the JB tray impression, okay? In Korea, AI-based denture design is currently being used, but it's anyway. Using the software, you can design the temporary denture, right? And then if you have the 3D printer or milling machine, you can print out like this. This is temporary denture. So, and then I covered this gum part with lead pink color resin. So according to the country, the government insurance is really different, right? So anyway, in Korea, it's very hard to cover the insurance in case of digital denture. So only conventional denture can be covered by the government insurance. So I sent this impression to dental lab. The dental technician Iran Zhang, he's best. Yes, dental technician. He will proceed his lecture after my lecture. Okay. So anyway, following the Pappo plans, he could mount the upper jaw and then lower jaw, and then according to the occlusal plane, he can arrange the artificial teeth very simply. Anyway, using the Pappo system and JB tray, the digital denture is very simple. And then if we use the JD plate like this specific plate, this JB tray procedure could be many uh, and beneficial to you. So it's very simple, okay? So, and then after 1 month later, we got the conventional denture, and then we delivered this denture to patient after checking the inner surface and occlusion and delivery. So at that time, we could make perfect retention, but I don't like those kind of strong retention, you know. Boom, sound is better. So and anyway, the phone sound always make the comfortable. Those kind of rigid, strong retention always make the ulcer or discomfort of patient. Okay, let's summarize using the showing the another video. So after softening the upper tray, and then I trimmed the shape. So before making the custom tray, this patient was for temporary denture after implant insertion, and then the palate area have to fit well. You have to push the palatal area using your fingers, and then adjust the excess area using the scissors, and then position it 1 more time. As I told you, the walking time is over 2 minutes, and you can make the well fit, yes, custom tray like this, and then applying the silicone material, silicone adhesive, and then you can put the tray type silicone material or heavy type is for first impression. You know, I'm working in a university hospital, so I have a tendency to waste the material now. I'm so sorry. So not necessary to put inside the silicone material like this. Anyway, after taking first impression, you can see the overpressure area like this here. Can you see here? So you have to reduct this part using denture bar. And this is very important. Stop it. Okay. As I told you, the posterior part always make the disturbance for making the closed mouth impression. So at first, when you make when you take a final impression of upper jaw, at that time you had better deduct the maxillary tuberosity area's thickness. Okay, at first remove this part slightly, yes, and maintain the thin layers, and then you can make the you can adjust the lower jaw custom tray very simply. Remember this one. So this is the basic for making the closed mouth impression technique. Okay, let's move. And then apply the silicone adhesive 1 more time. It's not essential. This is optional. And then put the right body. Wow, waste. the right body. I'm sorry. And then put the tray on the maxillary jaw, and then you can do the bottom molding, and then okay, chronoid process molding. Then you can get perfect impression like this. After then, you can mark the vibrating line using the pencil, but not necessary to mark because in the impression, we can detect the vibrating line perfectly. In case of lower jaw, it's essential. Before trying the tray, you had better make the proper form. And then wait about 30 seconds to you can feel the little bit stiffness of the tray to prevent the pouring of the tray because of the tongue rift. Swipe the lick the upper lip, and then you can do bottom molding directly. And excess area can be trimmed using the scissors. After hardening, you can use the denture bar for trimming. Check one more time. Then finish the making the custom tray. Is it strange? Don't worry, we will do double step impression technique. So and then check the bite. Oh, that's good. Apply the silicone adhesive, and then I put inside it. Put the no apply the tray type impression material, heavy body or tray type silicone material. I'm wasting the silicone material now. Anyway, the position the lower jaw tray, and then close the mouth. There is a closed mouth impression technique, you know? Lick the upper lip. At that time, I could detect the severe overpressured area. Using the denture bar, aggressively, I removed every pressed area. Don't worry. We can take a second impression one more time. Reduce the lingual range area. Don't worry tearing the first impression material. This step is a really important process for making the proper custom tray. And then using the right body, you can take a second impression using the closed mouth impression technique. Ooh, ee, and message. You can feel high retention. And finish the lower jaw final impression. This patient is for temporary denture after implant insertion and bone augmentation. So there was no proper space between upper and lower jaw. So I reducted aggressively the occlusal table on upper jaw, and then vertical load in the lower tray. And then I decided the proper vertical dimension, adjusting the tray itself. This is specific case because there was no proper space, enough space between upper and lower jaw. I decided the arbitrary vertical dimension, and then I fix upper and lower jaw using the thumb and chin method to induce the CR position, and then fix the pop bow systems, and then check the middle line in the popular line. After hardening the silicone material, we can adjust the campus line. The laboratory procedure will be shown by the dental technician Il-hwan Jang, next presenter. Okay, so after making the temporary denture, so I feel happiness. Because of time limitation, I want to skip these cases. This JB, I will explain briefly, okay? So JB tray can be used in the overdenture So for example, after 3 implant insertion, I decided to make rigid type of denture and then make the upper tray and take impression. In case of lower jaw, I could make the puncture on the tray before softening. Puncture, right? So to take a figure impression and then put the hot water, we can soft the material over 70 degrees Celsius. 70 degrees Celsius. In America, 157 degrees Fahrenheit. And then after 1 minute later, we can. So at that time, I should have waited about 30 seconds, but I rushed. So that is my fault. So you can see the folding the material. And then because of tongue movement, it's very hard to control the tray. Yes, tray in the oral cavity. Anyway, put the position and then you can do the pick-up impression after adjusting the excess area, right? So, and then using the silicone material, you can take a final impression like this. I'm so sorry because of the time limitation. So I believe you all understood about this procedure. But because of the fixture, I couldn't take the jaw relationship directly, At that time, we can use what? JB fork. So instead of JB tray, we can use JB fork and then we can detect the jaw relation like this. So although it's a little bit dirty, right? But you can detect every information. So the location of 6 anterior teeth and then CR recording, vertical dimension, and then you can mount this Jimson model just using this JB fork impression procedure. And then dental technician Iran Zhang made the perfect build bar, and then that is Magic Talk Systems. I developed this one as well. So anyway, at the second visit of patient, we can check the accuracy of build bar, and then we can check the aesthetic aspect using the 6 artificial teeth. And then second visit, but everything is okay. Vertical dimension was okay. CR was okay. But the midline is a little bit different. So I changed it. I marked the midline on the 6 teeth, and then I finish it, the jaw relationship taking. And then final denture. Finish it. So delivered. So anyway, in case of overdenture, you can finish within 3 visits of patient. So 4th visit, 5th visit, definitely the patient will complain about the discomfort, right? So that is natural thing. But in clinical time and laboratory time, we can reduce very perfectly. So if we use this tray. So I want to say one thing, clinical limitations. So in case of combination syndrome, you have to be careful. What is the combination syndrome? Combination syndrome and skeletal pattern 3, right there, protruded mandible. At that time, you have to be careful to use JB tray. You cannot make the jaw relationship directly at that time. So when the patient wear the upper full denture, lower Kennedy class 1 remove partial denture, at that time you can see the maxillary tuberosity ingrowth and then anterior lower jaw anterior teeth eruption. That means you cannot make a proper occlusal plane following the campus line, right? So at that time, it's very hard to take jaw relationship using the JB tray or JB fork. So anyway, let's summarize one more time. So combination like this, wearing the upper full denture, lower Kennedy class 1 partial denture. After aging, the mandibular bone will be resolved like this. The occlusal plane changes, reverse campus line, and then regular stimulation of maxillary tuberosity could make maxillary tuberosity ingrowth. And then the patient could protrude their lower jaw. And then, so the the lower anterior teeth could erupt and then hit the anterior part of the maxillary, premaxillary area. So you can see the premaxillary bone resorption and the maxillary towards the severe ingrowth. At that time, you cannot use it. So at that time, I recommend to use occlusal wax rim one more time. So after taking final impression, and then don't use the JB fork or JB tray itself for getting the jaw relationship taking. Okay, so arbitrary closure will be done is using the JB tray, and then wax rim could be made. At that time, you can see the almost even contact of occlusal wax rim inside of the oral cavity because I decided the rotational axis of lower jaw. You know? So, and then at that time, you can take jaw relation efficiently using occlusal wax rim. Anyway, JB tray is not perfect instrument. So in some cases, we have to change the procedure combining with the conventional procedure. Okay? Especially severely bone resorption cases or combination syndrome cases or class 3 pattern patients, you have to be careful at these situation.